studio this morning, we have a very topical discussion and conversation on the two sides of social media and why now more than ever, more people, especially the younger generation, are leaving for social media. We'll talk about why there is such immense pressure to keep up with others' online presence and if it really is necessary. And I have a great panel this morning. I'll introduce them. Nancy Mwai, a fashion and lifestyle blogger. And we also have Maggie Muga, a blogger and an advocate. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll also be joined in just a short moment with Ruth Ambogo, who is a lawyer and a youth mentor. And we also expect to be joined by a psychologist just to give us and put all these issues into perspective for us. But maybe I'll start with you, Nancy. You know, you are a lifestyle, you are a lifestyle blogger and you interact with a lot of people, especially the young generation on your social media platforms. And there's so much pressure to appear in a certain way. First, I'll ask you, can you give us an estimate of, the influence that you have on social media and what kind of content do you put up?
Okay, for me, I'm a digital content creator. I do lifestyle, fashion, and a lot of beauty. I also have a store, Shop New Level. But yes, I do have a huge following of the young audience. I started when I was young. I started 10 years ago. I was just in college, and I was like, I love this thing. There was no Instagram then. Facebook was just starting out. So I started with a blog, and we've grown this far.
How has it been for you, that journey from the beginning, you starting blogging, to a point now everybody's on social media?
Which is it's amazing. It was challenging at the beginning, but now the fact that we have social media is such a huge thing. Now it's such a nice, moving, well-oiled train. So yeah.
All right, Maggie, there are two sides to social media. There is the negative side and then there is the positive side. Why do you feel there is so much pressure to purport to have lives, specifically on social media, that do not necessarily represent our true selves?
Okay, I feel that pressure is there because people only put their best. Naturally, we put out our best days on social media. So people will assume that is the kind of lifestyle you have every day. Young people especially, are very oblivious of the fact that there are bad days that people don't actually share. And that's where the pressure comes in. How do I keep up with this and that person to just show that I'm also doing well when this person is not showing you everything? And I think that's where the pressure comes in, because you think someone is living a really good life, but you don't know. They're just putting their best days. But you think it's so glamorous, I just want that life.
And this leads to a lot of issues.
Yeah, that leads to a lot of deep-seated issues where people just want to change how they look just to please people that they really don't know. Yeah, but it's a tool that, if well used, can really take you somewhere, but you have to really understand yourself. Yeah, that's what I think.
All right. And remember, you can be part of our conversation also on our social media platforms at NTV Kenya, Zainab Ismail. The hashtag is NTV Today. Why do you feel that there's so much pressure on this young generation to have a certain lifestyle when it comes to presenting themselves on social media? Now, Nancy, what would make someone have two lives? And I'm not saying, this doesn't cut across, because there are people who actually have this life in reality and they're presenting it on social media. But there's also a lot of people who are not living the life that they're showing on social media.
Yeah. Okay, well, there's the people who post their reality, and then there's the fake it till you make it.
Yes.
So there's one who sees the opportunity to be who you want to be. Because you know what, at the end of the day, you're where you are and you're projecting it to other people on the internet. So people may not know anything else about you, but you can be who you want to be on the internet. That happens a lot. So you can be a different personality. You choose to be someone else just so that you can project what you want to project or what you want to achieve. So there are people
and do you think this should just be a personal decision?
Well, pressure comes from within. So for me, I'm also on social media. I've been doing this for quite a while. And yes, there are times I look at something and I'm like, oh, wow. I wanna be on this level. Then, I just hold myself back. I'm like, you know what? I need to come back down to earth, because that is not where I am right now. So it happens a lot, especially for me, who's a content creator and a businesswoman, since social media is such a huge part of me. I wake up on social media and sleep on social media. My business is ran on social media, so it's really just everything for me. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Ruth. Like I said, Ruth, a lawyer and a youth mentor. Thank you for joining us this morning. And we're having a discussion on the pressures of social media and trying to keep up with the Jonases and faking the lifestyle for some people, not everyone. I'd like to get your views as well on the same. Why do you think there's that pressure, especially when it comes to this young generation?
I think first there is the concept of FOMO, the fear of missing out. You know, that everyone is doing it, that people are living this kind of lifestyle. This is how people portray their lives to be. And so you would wish to also be part of the trend. You know, if people are going out from Friday to Sunday and waking up to go to work on Monday and spending a lot of money from that Friday to Sunday, you also want to live that lifestyle. So you don't want to miss out. You don't want to be seen as if in my circle of friends, I'm the only one who doesn't go out. In my circle of friends, I'm the only one who is not going for Koroga. You know, in my circle of friends, I'm the only one who hasn't gone for that concert, who hasn't tried out that new club, you know. So there's that fear of missing out. And then I think also it's also related closely to we not having most young people feeling emotionally inept. Like you don't have, you're not comfortable within your own skin. You cannot stay on your own. You cannot just enjoy the serenity of being by yourself. That you have to be with people. That you have to associate with people to feel that you know that you're complete. So that emotional ineptness, and I also think that part of the reason why we do that is because we are trying to seek validation from others. You know, we are trying to we want other people to value us based on where we go to, which joints we hang out, you know, how I mean what brands of clothes we wear, what types of shoes we put on, how frequent we can be able to change our hairstyles, you know. So we are trying to seek validation. So I think that's what leads people to.
And you would say that deep-rooted issues when it comes to this, and we'll come back to that. Maggie, with all these issues then coming to play, how would you balance between the real world and the one that we see on social media?
From my personal experience,
Yes.
I tend to share both sides, a little bit of both, in that I'll share my good days, but sometimes I also have challenges, and I try as much as possible to keep it real, but I also choose what I allow to be outside there. Yeah, so I'll only let you in online to the extent that I want you in, because at some point you have to also have your privacy. So it's a matter of choice. Just how much do you want to share? But also, to be relatable, you kind of have to show both sides. You just don't show the good side. You have to balance.
All right.
Yes.
Nancy, how do you do it? How do you balance it out, being out there and having so much influence on social media?
For me, what I've come to learn about social media all these years is be yourself. People relate to that. Who you are, be yourself. For me, my Instagram is, at the end of the day, I'm a digital content creator, meaning we create content. You curate what you're putting out there. But for my YouTube, that's where I get to connect with most people, because that's where I get to be as real AF, do what I need to do, you know. So you know, I connect with people better, because on my bad days, I will put out a video. On a good day, I'll put out a video. When I'm struggling with something, a business or anything, I will share it with people, so that they know this is how real life is. But for my Instagram, I always keep it nice and clean, nice and curated.
All right.
Yeah.
Have you ever have you ever felt the pressure, you know, to be perfect?
Yes. It's there. I won't lie. It's there. Yes. Especially for me, after I gave birth 5 years ago, I closed down my blog. And I closed down my Instagram because I felt like I was not as beautiful as I should be. I'd gained so much weight. I wasn't confident, so I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Because at that point I felt, I don't think I'll ever go back to the Nancy that people knew. And I felt like people will not accept me for what they have.
And that weighed you down.
It really did. I closed down all my social media. I was like, I don't want to share this person. And now when I came back a year later, because I said I'm not going to do this again, when I kind of now started working, you know, towards that, and I was like, you know what, I think people want to relate to this. And I keep saying I wish I shared my experience then, so that they know this goes you know, it happens in motherhood. So at that point, I felt like it was just me. It's me suffering. No one has ever gone through this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, Ruth, have you ever, you know, because you also have a considerable amount of influence on social media.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt the need to be perfect and seeking validation and affirmation from the people who follow you?
There was a time I used to feel that way. There was a time I wanted to portray this image of a very serious, you know, youth leader out there, meeting very serious people, going for serious functions. Like there's nothing about me that is a joke, and she knows that. So there was a time, and I think for me it was a defense mechanism. I personally, as growing up, I had gone through so many things in life, part of it being rejection. And so one of the ways to deal with rejection is to always want to be perfect, to always want to be accepted by people, to be seen as you're this serious young person. You know that when people are talking about Ruth Ambogo in circles of leadership, this is a very serious young lady.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess up with her. No joke, by the way. Like, as in, and I realized it got to the point that people now began to kind of, no offense, but to worship me in some way. People who would follow me, and especially younger people who wanted to be like me, would literally worship me. And then when they meet me, they realize I'm a joker, you know, like, I mean, I'm just this joker out there. And the problem with trying to seek perfection was that people cannot relate to your problems. If you tell someone, by the way, I am broke, Ruth Ambogo, broke,
From where?
how, you know, and then you see the thing is, when you're trying to seek perfection, you have to literally kind of match up to that lifestyle. You know, you have to every day wake up and try to live up to that, to the lifestyle that people are seeing. The Ruth Ambogo that is meeting up with all these senior leaders.
You cannot go below the bar that you've already set.
You can't go below that bar. And so when you get problems in life, people cannot be able to assist you, because according to them, they're like, oh, she's walking around. Because I remember there was a time I would really associate with politicians, because one of my ambitions in life is to join politics at some point. And I would associate with politicians. I would go for very serious forums. I would be seen on media. And I'm just a student who is struggling, who doesn't even have lunch for that day, you know. But people cannot relate to that. So when I would have problems, and then later on, you know, when you're having problems and people are not around you to support you, you start asking yourself, why are these people away from me? Why have they alienated me? And I remember one time I had a real talk with a friend of mine, and he told me, you know what, Ruth, there's just no way we could relate to you. I mean, there's no way I would even think that you have a problem, you know. Because a lot of times as people, we expect that when we are having problems, rather than going out to tell people that I actually do have this problem, you naturally expect that your friends will even notice, that you have a problem. Right. But because you're living a perfect life, you can't even be vulnerable to your friends. You can't open up to them. You can't tell them that, you know, this is what is happening. So when I realized, by the way, I'm living a life that's on social media, I'm portraying a life that I am not, that is not the reality. You know, I decided, by the way, you guys, I'm just going to be real. First of all, I'm going to drop this seriousness. Life is too serious in itself, you know. Yeah. So if you come to my social media these days, you will find a lot of jokes, because I'm like, you know what, at the end of the day, fine, they say your social media is your brand, but what is the point of a brand if when you have problems, people cannot come up and help you? Of what use is this brand when you need people the most? Because they cannot associate with you. You've already distanced. Yeah, you have already distanced yourself with your friends. So me, I said, you know what? Let me joke. Let me post the jokes that people normally post, so that people are like, you know, I can laugh with her. She's real. She's down to earth. You know, we can hang out. We can go to a kibanda. We can. Yeah. So for me, and since then, my life has been. Trust me, it's been very.
And you're enjoying your life?
I'm enjoying my life. I kid you not, I'm enjoying my life. I don't even care what people say. And I remember there was a time recently, I had posted something to do with relationships. And you know, people are not used to, I never talk about relationships online. So suddenly I said, oh, for once, let me just be like everyone else and say something about relationships. And I saw someone come and comment and say, Ati, oh, the Ruth Ambogo I met 3 years ago was a serious, focused young girl. This right now, she has been reduced to a crybaby talking about relationships online. And I was like, wow, you know, I mean, can't we just be real? Can't we just talk about normal things that affect people? Can't we just, without necessarily having to maintain a certain brand that is associated with certain circles, that if you're a political figure that is coming up, that now you have to always post about politics, you know, I mean, it's,
we need to put out the real life out there.
Yeah, put out the real life.
All right. And Maggie, you know, someone says, I can't be broke online and offline too? I mean, where does this mentality come from?
Pick a struggle.
Pick a struggle.
That's someone who's running away from reality.
Yeah.
So the online world they've created is one that they really want. Yeah, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because you just have to be real. Yeah, but I get where they're coming from. That's part of the pressure to try and maintain an image. And that's what you've been saying, that by the time you're not broke online, how do people trust when you're actually broke offline? Yeah, that's the struggle.
All right.
And that's just a perception that I can actually create a life I want online. That's what also social media has brought for some people. Yeah.
All right. And Nancy, how do you think then social media affects our social lifestyle in general, and especially social relationships with other people that we know and we don't know?
Okay, I think there's it has an effect. So what happens, a lot of people have, because of being on social media, when you're going somewhere, let's say you're going for lunch with friends, always pick out the cutest joint that you can be able to share. So, wear your makeup, make sure you have a face beat, because you're going to be on your friends' stories, wear something cute.
And you can't take a selfie because you don't have makeup on, apparently.
I do it. It's reached a point where I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to go to the supermarket. If I meet people and I don't have makeup, this is how I look today. I didn't want to do makeup. I don't want to do makeup every day just so that I can keep up the image that I do beauty. So I think it's affected people. So you see, a lot of the times you pick out the cute joint because you're going to share it. And then you know what, for me and my friends, sometimes we meet up all the time in our homes. We meet up in places to go eat where we actually do not share at all. You know what I mean? And then now when you're saying, let's go to the cute place and, share, and that's when you're sharing. When you feel like, this is perfect. This looks nice.
You can only share the perfect moments.
Even the meals you order, I will not lie. We will order something different so that it's all looking good on the picture. Like sometimes...
For the gram.
For the gram, right? And we are creating content, right? We are creating, but there's someone out there watching, thinking, I want this. I'm doing it for my job. They want it for their life. I'm getting paid to do it. So there is a time I can switch off. I can do it today, this Saturday, and the other Saturdays I'm at home in my pajamas, watching Netflix with my child, doing, chilling. But then there's a Saturday where I'll be like, it's work mode, let's go do this. And someone else wants that. And maybe they want that for their life, which is not such a bad thing. But then they can put pressures upon themselves, which are not necessary.
All right. And we're going to take a very short break here on Ntv Today. Remember, the conversation is also online on our social media platforms at Ntv Kenya, Zainab Ismail. The hashtag is Ntv Today. You can be part of the conversation, remember. And we'd like to know, do you feel pressured sometimes to just sort of create an impression of a person who's not the real you when it comes to the reality? Well, let's talk about that, and a quick break. We'll be back. All right, thank you so much for joining us. You're watching Ntv Today, and a fantastic conversation that we're having with a very great panel here. And someone here says, why is it that celebrities feel like they're of a higher quality of human being than others who don't have the magic gold dust of fame? And I ask you, Ruth, do you feel like there is this urge to be branded celebrities because it makes you feel like you're at a higher level than the rest?
I don't. Wow, that's very strange, because I think for me, and the question was that why do celebrities? I don't know if I consider myself as a celebrity, but why do they feel that they have this magic? Did he say dust of gold or something like that?
Yes.
I don't think people get born, unless you're born into a royal family, or the president's family, or one of those very senior people, senior businessmen, and then you automatically by default become a celebrity. But I think a lot of people actually find themselves there by virtue of what they do. It's either your talent that will get you there, and it's automatic without you expecting to get there. You just find yourself doing what you keep doing. I mean, keeping on with whatever it is that you're passionate about, and you find people just loving the content that you're putting out there, or loving the mission you're on, the agenda that you're on, the work that you're doing, and them automatically following you. So you automatically find yourself attaining what we would call celebrity status. Because like for me, I mean, I was a nobody. I was not even born in a family that you'd say, I'm not born in a family that you'd say it's a famous family. Nowhere close to you know, we are nowhere close to fame at all. If anything, I come from a very humble background. But then because of the beliefs that I espouse out there and the things that, the work that I do, and it all started with student leadership. You know, you start working, you start doing a few things out there, assisting students, you know, because for me, it all started with trying to assist students who are unable to raise their school fees at Strathmore University to be able to get an education. And before you know it, students from other universities or other student leaders begin to see, oh, there's this student leader at Strathmore who's doing a great job. Next thing you know, when they're ranking students who are doing, and you know, of course, as you're doing these things, you're posting them online. I mean, 2 years back, I think I had like less than 3,000 friends on Facebook, and up until this year, I think I had only 2,000 followers on Twitter until one event happened and I suddenly gained 6,000 followers overnight, you know. So as in, I don't think most of the people who find themselves in the limelight don't ever plan that, you know, I'm going to become a celebrity at some point.
Right.
It is the work that you do that gets you there. And then when you will notice that most of these people, when you hang out with them, when you get to meet them in real life, they're just normal human beings. And I think when people now espouse such views as those, it's a reflection of them not being them having some level of inferiority complex.
Right.
Because when you sit down with these people, they're just normal people. Before I started meeting these senior people, let me just say, for example, I'll just give a brief example of the first time I met Raila.
Right.
Like, you know, now for me, this is politics. I mean, these people have different areas of influence, but mine is the political circle. I remember I used to admire him before. I mean, I would really admire him. I'm not saying it has changed, but then I would really admire him for the contribution he has made to the democracy of this country and the history and all that, you know. And the first time I met him, trust me, I was starstruck. You know, I was totally starstruck. I was like, wow, you know, I'm in the presence of greatness. But then after that, you start realizing that these people are just normal human beings. Yeah. In fact, they just want you to be as normal as possible with them. And when you start pretending that, you know, you want to be very formal or you want to address issues that affect the society, when they meet up with young people, they just want to have fun. They just want to be reminded of their youth days and what is life right now, you know. So I think the problem is when we over glorify celebrities, when we put them on a rank that is beyond the human being level. And that's why now when you realize, when you hear stories of celebrities going through either marriage breakups, relationship issues, financial issues, it becomes a big deal. And yet they're just human beings like you and I, you know.
With normal
and they
human
probably
lives.
even have, in fact, I normally say, don't glorify celebrities because celebrities have bigger problems than you do. You know, if it is money problems, their problems are bigger than yours. Their debt problems
It's just that they don't show it.
Yeah, it's just that they don't show it out there.
Nancy, do you feel like, and I would consider you a celebrity, yeah? Do you feel celebrities have been over-glorified?
Yes, and I think it's the problem coming from the audience. I never call myself a celebrity, never see myself as that, but a lot of people come and say, you know, you're a celebrity, you know, you're a celeb. They're the ones telling you, because that's how they see you.
Yes.
Me, I've never seen myself as a celebrity. And most times when you talk to someone, when I respond on DMs, people are like, hey, you responded. I'm like, busy day. You know, I'm just like, I'll respond to, you know. When I have the time, I'll sit down and respond the messages that are there. You know, when I don't have time, I won't do it. But when I do, I'll do that. But it's not that, oh my God, you're a celebrity, you have time for me to respond. You know what I mean? I don't see myself as that. You know, as in, you followed me, we are friends here. Let's talk. You get, if you have something I can help you with, you've asked a question. If I can, I'll answer you. Yeah, but it's mostly people. When they meet me, they're like, oh wow, Nancy, hey, kona jokes, you're chill.
Sociable.
Yeah, but you see on my Instagram, I am not a smiling person when it comes to pictures. But in videos, that's what I was saying on YouTube, you can get to see more of the real me. When I'm talking, I use my hands, I smile. You know, like I laugh. On Instagram, I'm like this.
This is you.
Yeah, but now naturally, because when the pictures, that's kind of my instinct to, you know, do the slay look. But then when it comes to normal life, I laugh, I joke, you know, I'm, you know, fun. So that's, people don't expect that a lot. Yeah.
And we'll come back to you, Margie, but I understand we have our Mel Mendo, our reporter, and detectives morning. I'll just sample some of those at Lopeyok Fitness, and I think this is directed to you, Nancy. He says, I'm an upcoming fitness blogger, Nancy. What would you advise upcoming bloggers? Because I find myself really doubting if I can do it while I have so much to share. You will definitely answer him later on. And Michael Okuno Liech saying, rather than viewing Instagram or other social or content networks as certainly harmful, I would only suggest that you look at what people are accomplishing in Instagram and see if you want or need any of that. I think that's a very valid point. At Conrad saying, social media has been treated as a new world and people are deriving ways and a new lifestyle in the new world. Most of the most successful netizens are living a fake life, which in turn forces the young generation to copy and fit in. And Michael Okun, I think he says, if you knew how totally unreal some people are, you'll take back all the prayers you ever said in the four walls of your room to be like them. Do not fall for everything you see. Be careful what you wish for. Stay true to your own hustle and do not be bothered. And a lot of comments still coming in. Talk to us. So social media is at Ntv Kenya on Twitter, and the hashtag is Ntv Today. Now I'll read a very, very interesting comment here. I'd gotten earlier, and it says, we are taught at an early age to smile in front of the camera. So I think in a way we were programmed to only share the happy, perfect moments on our social media. Maybe it's not all fake, but rather just a small glimpse into someone's world. Very small. I'd like to get your view on this, on that, Maggie.
That's really deep.
Yeah?
We were taught quite early.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe it's actually just a glimpse of their good day. And that's why I say people actually share their good times.
But they're saying maybe it's not fake. This is who I am.
For
I've
some
been
people,
taught to do
it's
this.
actually not fake. Not for everyone,
Yes.
it's fake. To be honest, for some people, it's actually not fake. It's just that they're not showing the days they don't want to show. Who, when they're having a bad day, would naturally just want to be, okay, let's do this photo shoot. Who, in the right senses, people want it on their good days. And for some of us, it's become a job that you kind of have to do. And to do a job really well, your energy has to be right. So you will always show the good days, the good smile, everything right, because that's where you're sharing, and that's also part of your job. But it's true, not all the times that it's fake. It's just that we choose what we put.
All right.
Yeah.
Ruth, let's talk about something that keeps coming up. It's this tag, this brand, Slay Queen, Slay King. First of all, who is a Slay Queen and who's a Slay King? And do you feel that tag has been misused?
I feel that, first of all, I feel that the term has been misused. And then second, I really can't define, I don't have a definite definition of who a Slay Queen is. But I think it is just our modern day tag for a woman who is confident, a woman who looks, she feels she looks beautiful, you know.
Oh wait, it appears like it's more of a derogatory term when you tell someone they're a slay queen.
That's the thing, you know. But I think I mean, slay and queen. If you know how there's what we call the literal meaning of a word, slay. Slay is literally loosely defined as looking good, you know, looking nice and looking awesome. And queen is power. Queen is power. Queen is a term that was used to define a woman who is beautiful in her own skin and feels beautiful in her own right, has the power, has the confidence, you know, believes in herself. So I think you see what the slay queen today is synonymous to the term that used to be used kitambo, manzi. You know, just a few years ago we were saying dame, you know, we are dame. And years before that, we were talking about manzi, you know. And so I don't think, and back then when you would be called manzi wa Nairobi, demu wa mtaa, it never really had any derogatory meaning to it. It was just a slang term for defining who a young modern woman who is, how do I put it? A young modern woman who is informed, who is pursuing her goals, pursuing her dreams. That was the term that was used to define a woman. And I think now it has now grown and become the term slay queen. So I think there's a lot of derogation to the term just to make women feel, I mean, less confident of themselves, you know, to not own their beauty. Because I honestly believe that we are living in a generation that is, and I will repeat it, that is threatened threatened by an empowered woman. So, you know, because an empowered woman in many ways likes to call herself a slay queen. And so when I am threatened by the fact that you're empowered, I will try to use that which gives you confidence, that which you use to define yourself, to identify yourself with, I will use it against you. You know, I will try to make it look ugly. It's just the same way as, it works the same way as colonization. You know how the whites came and made us feel that being black is not beautiful, you know. And so they already control your mind and dictate to you that being black is not beautiful. So you begin to reject your black skin. You begin to reject your authentic beauty, you know. And then now they use it, now they sell you something else that is not authentic to who you are. So I think it is just a way to bring down women who are feeling confident about themselves, you know, to make them feel worthless, you know, and to use the term to associate the term with very many other things that are very senseless. So I think women who consider themselves as slay queens, I mean, just go out there, slay and own it and flaunt it. Yeah.
Do you agree, Nancy, that that name is used to make women feel less confident?
I agree.
Have you been called a slay queen before? Have you taken
and it's usually not at the, oh my God, she's a slay queen, I love her. Oh my God, my slay queens were Instagram. You know, that's what it is. Like you're trying to really make me, but I don't call me a slay. Me, I love that. Like she said, it's slay me. I love to slay. I know I'm a queen. I know I'm great. Me, I know I'm it, and I believe in myself. And I love myself. You know, I'm confident in myself. But that term started out so well. Then all of a sudden, always given a negative connotation.
But what
so it's
went
become
always to dilute or to make it look like you didn't work for your money. So you don't look good because you worked hard, because there's always an assumption that there has to be a man providing for you to look like this. I feel like that's why the term is now used these days to just, it's a derogatory term these days as used mostly by men. Yeah.
and even sometimes women, to be honest.
Yeah, and even
women
sometimes
on other women.
Yeah.
And I think right now, and it is also affecting women in leadership, because you know, for me, that's my interest. So when a woman comes up, she's young. First of all, there is an image that has been prescribed for what a leader should look like. In fact, I have friends of mine who were complaining. I'm in a circle of young women who are all aspiring leaders, and one of them ran for Senate, and she had a very small body, and she was saying how people were telling her, my friend, you need to eat, you know, you need to eat, you need to have some body muscle, you need to, there's a way in which a woman leader has already been boxed to look in a certain way. And trust me, it is not slender, it is not beautiful. By beautiful, makeup. I mean makeup. It does not involve makeup. It shouldn't involve high heels. It shouldn't involve fitting clothes, you know. Because by the time you're dressed up you're dressed up in makeup.
You're a slave.
By the time you're dressed up in makeup, you have put on a dress that is fitting nicely, you know. It is just slightly below your knees, and you put on a nice jacket, you know, nice colorful jacket. You're already a slay queen. And now the word slay queen is attached to, whenever they want to bring down a woman in leadership, just call her a slay queen. Call her a slay queen, and you have totally finished her. And you see the moment, and now society is already buying that idea that a slay queen is a derogatory term. It is a woman who is first of all, who does not even earn her place at the political table. She has probably opened her feet somewhere or her thighs somewhere to get to that table in the first place. And therefore, when these women even try to voice out their opinion, when they try to speak out on societal issues, when they try to represent the agenda of the people, there's already a derogatory term that has been placed to their name, and so they lack that respect, you know. Even amongst, forget about even the society itself, even amongst their male peers within parliament, I hear stories of women leaders and how they have to fight to let their opinions get heard, just because of the mere fact that when they were joining politics, they were already branded slay queens. Yeah, so it's hard for us. I don't know if I will have to gain weight so that 2022 I can have a shot at something, you know.
We'll talk about that later. Well, I understand that we have a statement here from, talk about the psychology part of it. I know we don't have a psychologist here, but at least we can try and gauge and see how this impacts, and the pressure to portray ourselves in a certain way on social media impacts us psychologically. Maggie, do you feel that there's a negative impact to it when it comes to, you know, those people who feel like I can't keep up with certain people, you know, I want to look like Nancy, but I can't, you know, I'm trying so hard. Does it affect you psychologically? Do you feel that? Have you met people who have experienced that?
It has not affected me psychologically per se.
Yeah, not you
Yeah,
specifically,
personally,
but probably people you've
But
met.
I've actually met younger people, especially those who've not reached a place where they know themselves and are comfortable with their skin, with what they are, with who they are. You find that they look for ways to keep up or to look like so and so, and that's why you find so many online profiles for people living a totally different life from how you know them because of the image that they've created. And it's so easy to go online and just create what you want. If you want to be this person who looks like this, you can do it online. Yeah, so I feel like people have inadequacies in themselves. If you do have that inadequacy where you don't know who you are, you don't know what you stand for, then you can easily fall into the pressures of looking like so and so, who, by the way, knows themselves, comfortable in their skin. And also, people don't appreciate that it's also a journey. To grow, you have to come from somewhere to go somewhere. And people just look for the end result. I have found Nancy online looking like this. I don't know what she did to get to where she is. I don't know how much work it took to be this confident, but I just want the finished product. So there is that, we are oblivious of the fact that it's a journey to just grow into who you are, especially if you're a woman. It's a journey to just become someone, a personality on your own. So people have to own the journey so that you don't fall into this pressure of I want to be so and this so and so is this years old. It has taken her this amount of time to get here. Why don't you look at it as a journey and not just the end result?
All right.
Yeah.
Ruth, would you peg this on the upbringing maybe and the society that we live in?
Yes, I would. I would say that, and when you say society that we live in, we are borrowing a lot of things from the West. You know, if you ask our parents the kind of lifestyles they lived when they were growing up, they never had social media. They never had, I mean, their circle of friends was people they had grown up with for a very long time, people they never had, should I say, the honor or the pleasure or the advantage of being exposed, you know. And that exposure is both good and bad. Bad in the sense that you are borrowing cultures and traditions that you're not used to, that cannot even work for you in the first place. I mean, the cultures and traditions that we are borrowing are traditions that are already weighing down on the very people from whom we are trying to learn. If you notice, a lot of celebrities, a lot of global celebrities, we've had cases of so many of them committing suicide. And a lot of them were people whose lives were, you know, inspiring lives out there. Young people wanted to be like them. They were either musicians putting out content that was inspirational, and they end up committing suicide, you know, because even for them, that life is too much to handle. They cannot handle the societal pressures that comes with that life. And we are trying to borrow the same lifestyle. So it's societal driven in the sense that we are borrowing cultures and traditions and trends that even the people from whom we are borrowing cannot keep up with them, you know. And also upbringing in the sense that I always tie a person's lifestyle, future lifestyle, to their childhood growth and upbringing. And I always say this, and I repeat a lot of times, that so many young people in our current generation are facing lack of parental love and care when they're growing up. Because our own parents have their own issues they're dealing with, and so they're unable to give us the amount of love and attention and care and correction and guidance that they should be able to give us.
And that's why you feel like they're trying to look for validation on social media.
So we don't have love. We are not receiving a love from the people who should be loving us, and so we try and portray fake lives and fake images to get love from other people outside, you know. We are trying to fill in the void that has not, that kind of void that was never filled in when it needed to be filled in when we were growing up. So yeah, so growing up and societal pressures definitely
do contribute to some of these issues that we're seeing. All right.
Yes.
So the Ministry of Health is set to launch the National Malaria Strategy 2019-2023. Now, this 5-year strategy is aimed at eliminating malaria in the country. Now, to our conversation here, just as we continue, Nancy, you know, there's a study that was conducted, and it says that young people spend more than 2 hours a day on social sites, are more likely to develop psychological distress, depression, and anxiety. And some of these reasons are because of rejection, and something that keeps happening in our country, cyberbullying, then, you know, and this can increase the risk of suicide among young people. I mean, what advice would you give young people in terms of trying to fit in, and if they can't, they face cyberbullying, and then you face cyberbullying and you think of suicide?
That is, it's quite unfortunate, because I remember growing up, we didn't have social media, and during your adolescent years, you know, you're getting to know yourself. Now, these girls have Instagram accounts. They are following people, you know, celebrities from all over the world. And I remember what I went through as a, you know, as a girl growing up. If I had Instagram, I think it would have been very hard.
Very hard. Have you ever experienced cyberbullying?
Yes, I have.
How did you take it? How was it for you?
Well, at the beginning of this, when it happened, it used to really affect me, because when I started, I was just a student living off my mom. You know, she was paying my rent. So I hadn't even started earning money from what I do. So if people would comment a little bit about my clothes or say something, I just used to be so affected. I used to cry, I used to feel bad, I used to be like, and that time I was doing it as a hobby. It wasn't even a business. So I used to feel so attacked. Now cyberbully me all day, every day. I'm fine. I'm good. I've gotten the thick skin. I know who I am. There's nothing you can do about it. Because at the end of the day, the person talking is not even using their own real account. So yes, cyberbullying happens, yes. But I think people need to be, you know, they need to give themselves space to grow and know who they are, be confident in themselves. And the more you portray, this is the real me, people can never come at you with, you know, you're like this, but yeah, but this is who I am. You know, this is who I am. But I know it's hard for someone who, let's say, is in their teen years. That's when they're getting to know themselves. It's a little bit of a challenge.
All right.
Yeah.
Maggie, you know, we've seen people at a certain level in the society and who command a lot of influence, especially among the young people. And they've had to pull down all the social media sites, and they've had to stop posting things, and even at the verge of probably even committing suicide, and have come up to talk about depression and issues like that. What do you think of that? And do you agree that spending too much time on social media is unhealthy?
I think, as Nancy said, it's very unfortunate when it comes to that. But at the same time, I won't pin it on spending time on social media. I will pin it on what are you consuming on social media, because you choose who to follow.
Okay.
You choose what you're going to consume. I would spend the whole day on YouTube, and what I'd get from TED Talks and someone's channel would give me a lot of confidence, etc. in life than maybe just interacting with people around me at that particular time. So I wouldn't pin it on time per se that you spend, but what exactly are you consuming from that? Yes.
Okay. And Ruth, I know you've faced cyberbullying before.
Yes.
I know, how have you been able to receive that, and did you move past that?
For me, it happened early this year. I was just on a very noble mission. And then, you know what happens to victim when someone is coming out, and I was sharing an experience I had gone through as a victim. But you know what happens, especially for when women are coming out to talk about anything that has happened to them, be it life in general, be it relationship-wise, be it in marriages. You know, when women come out to speak, the story is always shifted to them, and a lot of things begin to be said about these people. So I went through the same thing. I went through victim shaming and victim blaming, and then that now later collated into cyberbullying. So for me, at first I found it very funny, because you know, when you know your truth, when you know that this is who I am, this is my life, this is my reality, this is my truth, I am not this, I am not what they are saying I am, it becomes funny. When you've gotten that to the level of like, just as Nancy was saying, when you have gotten to the level of understanding self and knowing who you are and knowing your agenda and knowing the purpose you're pursuing in life, then you begin to notice that these are just side shows. To be honest, I found it funny. Some of the jokes that people were making, some of the comments that were being made, I found them funny. So in fact, at some point I noticed the best way to deal with these cyberbullies is to be the joke itself, you know. Join in the joke. They call you this, be part of the joke, in fact. Don't even wait to start seeking, oh yeah, you know, I think we can be friends. I have actually seen almost 10 people who are coming with the intention to bully me, and then I deal with them properly, and they start now saying, oh, you know, we can be friends, you know, one of these days we can grab coffee. And I'm like, really? You think I would sit down with you when I know that your intention was to bully me? So first thing is, I always say, is be a step ahead of the game, you know. Second, understand yourself. Know that, by the way, know your truth, and know that if anything that is being said is not along your truth and what you know yourself to be, don't let it affect you. And finally, sometimes I think it is necessary to deal with people, to actually instill some sense of fear in people. They come and they insult you, they are consistently insulting you. It is about time you just take your time and say, you know what, now let's deal with this. You know, because some people just need to be dealt with. They come with, I have actually seen even public figures actually dealing with people online. Because when people are used to abusing you and insulting you, and especially when they have a huge following, you know, when it is nobodies, people who are using pseudo accounts, you can let that go. But when it is somebody who also has an equal huge following as you, and they are constantly trying to bring down your image, trying to devalue you.
And we keep seeing a lot of that, you know, online tackle, especially on Twitter.
Yes,
from
throw
very,
the tackle back, so that they realize that, you know, you're not just somebody to walk over.
But not always.
Not always. Because remember, even when we were kids, even when we were kids and we were in primary school and people would bully us, our parents would, you know, somebody would constantly bully you and constantly beat you. Day one, you go back to your mom. Oh, so-and-so beat me. Oh, I was beaten. You're constantly crying. At some point, your mom just tells you, by the way, even you, go and instill the fear of God in this person. So yeah, but at some point, I actually, and when you realize it is serious, because this is why we have laws. And I mean, we have laws that talk about libel and what defamation, When you realize that this person's words, especially when they have a high standing, by high standing, I mean they have a huge following in the society, and their word seems to be taken as it is, you know, and they're constantly going on and bringing down your image, it might actually get to a point where you might need to take legal action. At some point, I wanted to take legal action this year, but then I said, you know what, it's not worth it. All
right. And you've talked about something very interesting, and it's also a question that I've seen here on our Facebook platform. Someone is saying, if you have a huge number of following on social media, does that mean that you have a certain standard in the society, Nancy? Does it mean that, you know?
No, it's just social media. You know, it's just social media.
It's simple as that.
It's simple as that. Yeah, you know, people take it as such a complicated thing. There are people who are so important, who do amazing things and have zero followers.
Then comes the issue of oversharing. Do you feel like people who have a lot of following on social media tend to overshare too much?
I think it's a choice. We choose what we want to share. There are people who are actually oversharers and they're okay with it and they love it. And I love watching people overshare.
And nobody should judge them?
No, I don't think you should be judged. That is who they are, their personality. So should they come and just share less? You know, but their personality is all about oversharing in real life, and that's what it is on social media. Yeah, so they are who they are.
All right.
Yeah.
Maggie, what do you think?
I think it's a choice. Like, you can't just wake up and decide this person has to share what I want. It's their life. If they are oversharers, it's okay, and they're okay with it, with that choice. You can, you know, for every choice there's a consequence. If you can handle the consequences of your choice, I think you're good to go. Yeah.
All right, and then we have those people still who have a lot of following, and then they're branded role models. And some would come out and say, don't say I'm a role model. It's not my choice to say I'm a role model to your young people or the young people or your children. What do you feel about that? Should they take that responsibility naturally and say, because a lot of people are following me and a lot of young people are following me, then I should be a role model?
I do not think you should place that responsibility of being a role model on anyone. Be your own role model. Yes. No, I do not think it is fair to place that responsibility on someone and dictate that this is how you should act because we have said you're a role model. Be your own children's role model. Be your own role model. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And some people have taken an issue on people posting relationship issues, specifically intimate relationship issues, saying, look, don't put up your issues for us, and then when you break up or when you part ways, then it becomes an issue. And really, and we've seen this in a number of couples who've been able to, you know, make headlines when it comes to that. And do you think it's a good thing?
Well,
or is it just a personal choice?
I think by the time you're taking to social media to talk about your relationship issues, many times you're overwhelmed by emotions, and like that is the only platform you have known to express yourself. You know, a lot of times it is that is the only platform you have known to express yourself for a very long time, and so when issues come up, you're like, you know what? Let me use the I'd say weapon, the closest weapon I have. For some people, it is as for some people would expose their social, their relationship issues as a way of getting back at someone. So for them, it's this is my only weapon, and so let me use it, you know. And a lot of times, I think I've had an experience with that before, and I have seen some of my friends go through the same. In fact, a very close friend of mine has been going through the same, and I think that we don't realize how much we hurt people when we have probably broken up with them, and now we start exposing intimate details of the relationship that we had. You know, if you are posting for us happy times, I don't think it would be in good faith to now start posting, oh, they also did this to me, they also did this to me. I think respect the privacy of what the two of you had, you know, and be able to, if there's no way that you can resolve these issues as individuals outside social media, then just seek some form of counseling for your own self out there, you know, find therapy, find people to talk to.
All right.
Because social media, in as much as you'd want to think you have followers and supporters who will support you, they will be telling you, oh yes, expose, yes, we feel you, I've also been there. But in the real sense, they're backbiting you, they're talking about you, they're saying how undignified you are, you know. So I think some of these intimate issues, it's best if they're dealt with, you know, outside social media.
All right.
A lot of people get hurt in the process.
A lot of hurt. Okay. So Nancy, as your closing remarks, you know, what would you say to young people who feel pressure to be, what would I call it, fabulous, you know, on social media, just to impress or to keep up with the Jonases, like I would say?
I'd say do it for yourself. You know, do it for you. You want to feel fabulous, do it for you. Don't do it for the validation of others, and don't feel fabulous just for that one picture. And then you go back to your day of feeling like crap. You know, do it for you. Let it be a constant. And also look at social media as a positive thing, and what you consume sometimes is what you become. You choose to follow these people, you choose to consume, you choose to react the way you react. You know, these people are only living their lives, and you choose to take what you need to take. So take the good things and keep the bad things, you know, away.
Aside.
Yeah, aside.
All right. Maggie, your closing remarks on the same.
I'd say social media is a very powerful tool, and to whom much is given, much is expected. So once you have the power to use this social media account, be really wise on how you're going to use it. If it's going to be to your own benefit, that well and good. You can make a business out of it. You can run your business out of it. It's just a matter of choice. What are you putting out there, and are you okay with it? Because you can't meet everyone's expectations. But just as Nancy said, it has to come from you. What do you want? So at the end of the day, know your why. And I think everything will fall into place.
Fantastic.
Yes.
And Ruth, your closing remarks very quickly.
I'd say know your limits on social media. Know your limits. When you begin to notice that there's too much pressure that's coming from the fact that you're online, you're consistently online, when you notice that you have issues, and as a result of being online, you're in essence escaping from these issues, notice that it is time to actually take a break. And it is okay to take a break. I mean, some of us, and personally as an individual, I have had times when I'm going through struggles and challenges in life, and I notice that being on Facebook, being on Instagram, being on Twitter is preventing my healing process. And so I tell myself, Ruth, you know what, it's time to take a break and take care of yourself. You come first, you know. In as much as being online, putting out content, you're serving the world. Remember, at the end of the day, you cannot serve the world if you're not serving yourself first, if you're not comfortable first, if you're not happy in yourself, if you're not healed by yourself. So notice when it's time to say, I need to deactivate this Facebook account for 1 week to deal with this particular issue. I need to be off Instagram to deal with my personal issues and to heal first before I can come back and you know, celebrate and entertain people. So know your limits.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And something very important we probably didn't discuss was the fact that social media is a fantastic and great platform for positive growth, and especially for business-minded people.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right, and from there we have Usha Jose with the entertainment news.